Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. There's another council that has just launched their selective licensing scheme. Now, this is important to understand if you're a landlord, and also I think if you're a tenant, you should understand these additional costs that are being put on to landlords that may increase your rent and don't really impact the quality of rental accommodation. Now, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. I've got new property content every single day. We talk house prices, interest rates, we talk how to invest in property and much, much more. And let's get some views on this video. How do we do that? Simple. Smash like, tick or like, do something to that like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm and massively helps the channel grow. So thanks to everyone that does that. So selective licensing. I want to give you my experience with selective licensing. So I invest in various different areas. I've got a property in London on a rent-to-rent basis. So we'll exclude that because I don't own it. I've got properties that I own in Surrey, in Dorking. That's where the majority of my portfolio is. I've got properties in Sussex, and I've got them in Doncaster as well. Now, the only area that currently, fingers crossed, I have to do with selective licensing is in Hastings in Sussex. Now, selective licensing basically means that Hastings Council make you, if you want to rent a property, you have to get a license in order to do that. Sounds fancy, right? Sounds like that they check and vet you. Well, here's the process with Hastings. You go onto the Hastings Council website, you fill in a web form, and it asks you various questions. For example, are you a fit and proper person? Now, I doubt many people answer no to that question. They ask you questions like, have you ever scammed anybody? These sorts of questions. The questions are ridiculous. Then what happens is they say, would you like a selective license? And I think you can get it for 1 year for £200 or 5 years for £500. So I thought, do the quick math there. That works out better. So I'll get the 5-year license because I don't want to go through this again and again and again. So then they ask you to pay. So you pay your 500 quid. I've got to do this again in a couple of years, unfortunately. I pay my 500 quid, and then I'm thinking at this stage, right, what's going to happen is someone's going to approve this. Someone's going to check that I am a fit and proper person. Or, more importantly, of course they're going to come out and check my properties. Of course they are. They're going to come and check the property and check that I'm a great landlord and the property's clean and hygienic. It's got the gas safe. It's got the EICR. No, none of that happened. They just got my money. So thank you very much. Here's your license. Very strange. I think that's probably how you get a fishing license. It's about as effective as that. So this selective licensing is a cash grab by local councils. Government, central government obviously have approved this, but it's a cash grab. It doesn't, in my opinion, make the quality of the rental properties any better at all. Like zero. Like nobody knows if my property is good or if it's bad. They've never been there. And so the selective licensing, if you look at how the government pushes it out there, it's that it's going to get rid of rogue landlords. It's going to make the quality of rental accommodation go up. In my opinion, that is utter rubbish. So who's the next council to do this? It's the Wirral. So they are launching their selective license and they have a fee, bit more. I think Hastings is probably going to go up to this anyway. It may even be there now next time I renew. They're giving you a 5-year license for £605. £605. Now, that is just going to be free money for the council. Now, councils are struggling for revenue at the moment. All of them are struggling. A lot of them are nearly going bankrupt. So, again, landlords are the easy target here. Very easy to target the landlords and say, give us some of your money, and no one will argue or fight back on this one because the landlords are the minority here. But ultimately what happens with this kind of stuff is that gets passed on to the tenant, because the landlord is getting hit from all sides with interest rates, with Section 24, with the EPC stuff, with the renters' rights stuff. And so ultimately the rents for the tenants increase because of this stuff. Now, just before Christmas, this was one of the most watched videos on the channel. I think we got 50,000 views. 50,000 views. Parliament said that councils, they approved the rule that said any council in the UK can launch these selective licenses now. So I'm surprised that, like the Wirral, people have taken so long to cotton on to this. And what I think will happen, fingers crossed it won't, but I'm pretty certain it will, is I think all councils will get selective licensing. I think they're going to make it so landlords have that ability. And they'll force landlords to pay this cost. If you don't and you rent your property out, you can get fined a lot of money. Do some people rent their property out and not get caught? Of course they do. Some people also rent their property out and get caught and get massive fines for not having this selective license. So for the sake of just over 100 quid a year, I think it's important to just get the license. It does give them the ability to say, if you did a major breach and got in trouble with something in court, they could say you can't have a license and you can't rent property in that individual town. So that could be something that could be a problem to put off some landlords if you want to spin it like that. But I think that this is just going to be an extra landlord tax. I'm surprised more county councils haven't done this, and I bet you that we'll be doing videos very, very soon with more councils rolling this out. I bet they're all looking at how can they increase their revenue. They're going to see the case studies. They speak to the other councils. I'm sure the top people at councils go and meet up for meetings and talk about how they generated revenue and cut costs and increase costs and all these kind of things. I bet you in those meetings, someone from Hastings would say, hey, you know what? We make millions off this selective licensing stuff. And it's quite easy to run. You just whack some web pages up, you get a few administrators to manage it all, and it works quite well. So landlords, I think you need to keep an eye on this selective licensing stuff. If it comes into your area, should you worry? No. It's very straightforward to get your license, but the problem is it's just another cost. Tenants, ultimately, these things are going to be what increases rents even more, and I don't think that's good for anyone. Let me know in the comments what you think about the selective licensing scheme. Do you think it's good? Do you think it improves the quality of rental properties? Maybe I'm wrong. Where I've seen it in action, I don't. I have not seen any improvement in rental quality at all, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below. Do smash like and subscribe, and check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.